to build an approach to managing those injuries and keeping the back pain free for the long term. So my favourite analogy, and I'm not sure where it came from, it may be Professor Stuart McGill, I'm not sure, is the idea of bank balance. So you need to think of that bank balance as the amount of work or aggravation your back will tolerate before you start to develop an actual injury. So that injury could just be like a flare-up in pain, or it could actually be like a disc bulge or a herniation or sciatica, whatever it may be, or how it presents itself for you. So with the idea of a bank balance, let's say that the average person needs, just for easy numbers, needs $100 in that bank account to get them through each day, have a little bit in reserve and keep themselves pain-free. So that bank balance, how is it going to get drained throughout the day? So let's just say, for example, probably the most common aggravator for a lot of people in our kind of a modern world is what we call flexion intolerance. So flexion is basically let that lower back slip into a rounded position, whether it's like a one-off movement or whether it's you kind of sit or your posture's like that for prolonged periods. So if we imagine that each time you slip into flexion, either when you awkwardly bend to pick up something, or maybe if you sit there for a long time, it starts to drain that bank account. So say you get up in the morning, all is well, we've got $100 in that bank account. Get up in the morning, a couple of awkward bends in the morning to put on shoes, get dressed, that sort of thing. That might take up maybe, say, $20 of that bank account. So already we've drained a little bit and the day's only just sort of started. So now, say we go to work, go in the car, or we commute in a horrible position because we haven't got a decent amount of lumbar support, so that back kind of rounds, and probably we're looking at our phone as well, maybe if we're on the commute, hopefully if you're not driving. And again, that takes sort of like another $10 out. And then we're going to sit down at work, sit down at a desk, maybe the chair isn't quite right for us, or we just tend to slouch in our posture. We sit down all day, and then for every minute we sit there, we drain that bank account lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower until we sort of get all the way to the end of the day. And maybe, if we're lucky, we've got sort of maybe only $10 left in that bank account, which would be fine if you went straight to bed or let it rest and let it recover and build up again overnight. But let's just say you've got $10 in your bank account, and say on the way home you want to do some shopping, or you've got to help a neighbour move some furniture or something like that, and you have like an awkward bend, you have to go down, pick something up a bit heavy and a bit awkward, and that movement needs $15. But you've only got $10 in that bank account. So we're going to drain to zero, and then we're going to slip into overdraft, and then bang. That's when we have that flare up, that, oh, here we go. Next few days or weeks, we're in trouble now until that bank balance, we can rest the back and let the bank balance start to build up again and let it all start to settle. So if we get the idea of a bank balance, it does a couple of things. One, it helps explain, because more often than not, people have the idea that, my back was fine, but then I just bent over to pick up something small or silly, and it just went bang, and it grabbed, and I didn't understand why. It's because that bank balance was low, and you didn't have enough in the bank balance to do whatever that kind of seemingly small movement was at the time. It just tipped you into overdraft, and that's what set that spasm off and that bit of damage. But also long term, you start to understand that if we're going to be pain-free, there's two things we need to do. One is we need to, with that bank balance, we need to minimize the withdrawals that we make. So if we understand what our aggravators are, because those aggravators are the things that make those withdrawals. So again, it could be awkward bends, sitting with bad posture for a long time. If we start to minimize those things, then we're not going to drain that bank account as quickly as we did before, or nearly as far as we did before. So already we're going to help keep ourselves out of trouble and keep ourselves out of a flare-up by just learning to manage that bank account and not just kind of spending it on stupid things that we can control.